Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today, I want to talk to you about something that is really dear to my heart, something that may even draw out some emotions, and that is recovery from a concussion when you're ready to go back to play. So, let me start by telling you a story. Many years ago, I won't say how many, when I was working in soccer, I'll never forget the time that I was called out onto the field by one of the coaches and a couple of the players. And there on the sideline, on one knee up, one knee down, was a young 9-year old girl with tears coming down her eyes. She had just received a ball to the head that she was not ready for, and she was dizzy. She had a headache, and she was a mess. She was crying. So, I go over, I take my time, ask her a few questions, stayed with her, made sure she was fine. And together, when she was ready, she was able to get up. We walked over to her dad and explained to her dad, this is what has happened. This is what I believe has happened. And for me, with my background as an athletic therapist / fellow and all the trainings that I've had in concussion assessment, treatment, and all that kind of stuff, I was pretty sure that she had had a concussion. And the following practice, she wasn't there. And the father confirmed to me that, because she had actually another sister there, confirmed to me that she definitely had a concussion and that they had an actual clinic that they went to. And I don't remember the clinic, but I do know they had a lot of really good people there, because myself at that time, as the on-field head athletic therapist, I'm more responsible for what's happening on the field. And because we trained at different places, we didn't have our own clinic. So with that in mind, people would go to places, and if they didn't know anywhere, I would recommend them. So about 3 weeks later, she came back. The dad said, and had a note, she was totally cleared. However, when I sat in and spoke to her and started asking her, so are you ready to go back in? She was really hesitant, like really, really hesitant. I said, okay. And I said, you know what? You and I will work together. So one of the things that I do, regardless of what I did when people were working in the clinic, as I like to say, you can be clinically cleared, but does not necessarily mean that you're ready to go into play for the field. So you can be clinically cleared, but not necessarily field cleared. So what I did is I put her through some of the tests. I was putting our return to play athletes into those coming back from many different injuries, some sprints, some jogging, push-ups, sit-ups if they've had a concussion, a lot of different things. And she was totally fine. She was amazing with that. But I could tell there was hesitation, and she did not want to go back in. And I said, okay, that's fine. Let's do some work on the sideline. So we did some dribbling. I got out cones. I had her dribble. And then what I started to do is I said, you know what? Let me be the defender. And she started, and she hesitated, because everything she had done prior to that, what she had done was without anybody in front of her, anybody confronting her, anybody being physical towards her. And I thought, aha, she can do everything on her own, but she does not have what I would call something that's more realistic. So I said to her, you know what I want you to do? I want you to go into your mind, and I want you just to imagine and maybe tell me what it's like when you have the ball and you want to get across somebody, or you don't have to. And she said, didn't really give me a response. I said, okay, well, what about we do this instead? What if you were to imagine that you're fully healthy, you're incredibly strong, you can dribble the ball, and there's somebody in front of you, and you can take them on. What do you think about that? And she sat there and her eyes kind of went all over the place, which I thought was kind of funny. And she said, I think I can do that. I said, well, this is what I want you to do. Between now and the next practice, anytime you get a chance and anytime you have an opportunity, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine that you're playing in a game. You're playing and you are full strength. You have your speed. You have your skills back. I want you to just imagine that over and over and over again and think about how amazing it is that you're now back playing and how strong you are. And she said, yeah, I think I can do that. So what was really interesting was we worked again with the cones. I said, you want to give that a try with me in front of you? And I was quite surprised because she did. And what happened was she would come towards me. I would make a base, so to speak, and then she would think just briefly, and then she would dribble around me. And we did that quite a few times. And what was really interesting was she was no longer feeling afraid. She decided, without me telling her to, she accepted my suggestions. She accepted to think about what she wanted instead of what was blocking her. So one of the things that I have found when working with injuries and concussions can be something, knee repair, that type of a thing, is it is so important to get the picture in the mind to be able to overcome or change the story of what had happened in the past. And I kind of like this because when you're able to use your imagination and you can create the scenario yourself, that's right, you can create the scenario yourself. Maybe you get a few suggestions instead of being told what to do, which is very different. What's happening inside is it coming from you? It's not coming from a parent or a coach or a therapist. It's coming from you, that individual that has chosen to think about a better outcome. So one of the things that I find that is so important is that when you're overcoming an injury, you're returning back to play, it is so important that the images in your mind are coming from you. You're the one that decided that, and it is a decision. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to continue to be in a roadblock, so to speak, instead of a clear path ahead of you. And if you continue, the other thing too I find is if you continue to talk about your injury, and this is my experience with over the 8 to 10 concussions that I've had, what it does, it just makes you feel less. It makes you unhappy. It's all those those kinds of things, as I like to say. So it is so important when you are recovering, and it's a choice. When you are recovering from a really bad head injury or you're coming back from surgery, I invite you to choose to think of what it's going to be like when you get back into play, and to think about how strong you are and how powerful you are. And when you continue to think that over and over again, and perhaps go through the process of the drills that you need to do, or the skills that you already have, just to wake them up a bit, and just think about this. If you continue to think that over and over and over and over again, and continue that positive cycle of being out on the field, being out on the ice, being out on the court, swinging that bat, taking that shot, making that hit, doing that it doesn't matter. It does not matter. You keep on that, and what's happening now is you are creating a very positive feedback loop. So when it gets time for you to actually go back on to play, it's almost going to feel as though you have yet to lose a step. And it's even possible that you've come back stronger and better. I'm Matrix Mike, and thank you for taking time out of your busy day to watch this video and feel all my concussion. So what I want you to do is, there you go. Please feel free to leave comments below. I do my best to answer anything that is put down. And remember, do your best to keep a positive picture going in your mind over and over again. And I invite you to do so. And I look forward to hearing from you and wishing you best success moving forward. Bye for now.